Hearing from April Ross, the ball is pinging around in there, difficult to pass at times, but today they will have their work cut out, the Italians, against Steven van der Velde and Christian Varenhorst, who are in a very strong position against the Beach Volley Vikings yesterday. 15-10 up and 1-0. But first of all, as always, we meet our referees. Carlos Rivera will be on the stand.
The second referee from France, Mr. Vincent Roche.
Well, Vincent Roche will be on the sand. Three-time European champions. Three-time Olympians, the Italians. But first, we're going to meet the Netherlands. The first time the Netherlands have made the Final Four in the men's competition since 2015. Steven van der Velde is rising in the world of beach volleyball. 199, it says that. 27 years old, plays defender but can also block. But playing alongside one of the best blockers, the biggest blockers on the World Tour for some time now in Christian Varenhorst. Varenhorst, well, has taken a second at the World Championships in the Netherlands in 2015 with now coach Ryan Nummerdock. Back to the very top of the game this week with Van der Velde. Two heroes of Italian beach volleyball. Paolo Nicolai, a gentleman, 33 years old, 16 seasons, an Olympic silver medal in the locker, playing with Daniele Lupo. 93 events together now, 4 wins on the World Tour. 10 times they've taken bronze. The last time they took a bronze was in the Doha 4-star in 2020. And the longevity of Nicolai and Lupo is something to really behold. Always at the very top of the game. This is the best result for Nicolai and Lupo in a World Tour finals. They've never made, well, they haven't made a Final Four since 2017, where they took a bronze in Hamburg at the expense of Kantor Wozniak from Poland. So they can't go better than a bronze today, but they would love to add a second one. They would make some history for being the only team to win 2 bronze medals. It looks like there's a problem with the contact lens of Paolo Nicolai. Round of applause as Paolo makes his way back onto the court. But for the Dutch at the moment, it'd be very fair to be very optimistic for Dutch beach volleyball, because there are 3 teams operating form-wise in and around the top 10 in the world. Lupo has been magic all week long, been served a lot of ball, but maybe the smallest player on the court, but still stays uber aggressive. Van der Velde. Well, talking of being aggressive, Varenhorst goes straight to Van der Velde and says, Stevie. Overjoyed with that one. Fast feed away from the body. Chop back. We've seen a more powerful play to the seam. Then we see Lupo chop one on the angle and smartly. A little bit tight to the net. Decides to take on the block of Varenhorst and successful here. Is he always looking through the net? Sees Varenhorst and takes him to Tooltown. And Velde coming in straight, turns off the body. Very good from Van der Velde, trying to twist that one back. A little nod from Lupo, because from a defensive and blocking perspective, they've just made Van der Velde do something that's very, very tough. Good dig. Chance from the right side for the Netherlands, finding the sideline. Van der Velde. And you have to think, yesterday, they were so, so good for 90% of that semi-final. The Netherlands, they really were. They'd already beaten the Beach Volley Vikings earlier on in the season. They had them on the ropes, and even the Vikings have said that could be their best comeback ever, from 15-10 down to go on an 11-3 win streak to take the second set 21-18. But Varenhorst was making a ton of blocks through that game. Anders Mol jump serve and some solid solemn siding outing brought the Vikings back into the game. Although, again, if you're the Netherlands, you have to be confident now with Van der Velde and Varenhorst that they're a team that can really mix it with the best. Varenhorst has been at the forefront of the game for some time, but Van der Velde really stepping up this season. Their results always improving. Chetamol 4-star, which was all the way back in 2019, which actually still counted for teams in qualification to this World Tour finals. They took a 17th, but since then, lots of top 10 finishes. A bronze medal in Sochi was a great result for them, and it gave them a sniff of Olympic qualification. Lupo faultless back through to the angle. Varenhorst Van der Velde were one of the teams that went to the final day of Olympic qualification. They needed to beat Blauer Musen, friends and fellow countrymen, to qualify or get to the final four to give themselves a chance of a medal. Unfortunately, they lost out that time. Blauer Musen went on to win in Ostravec. Miss serve from Nicolai. Powerful from Lupo. So Lupo just plays with the angle, plays with the seam a little bit, and eventually Netherlands have to do something slightly different. Diving into the cross court. Varenhorst, good late decision from Lupo. Passing off the net though, Varenhorst, chance from the right side. Italy have served Van der Velde. He's sided out with ease at the start of this game, so a change of the service tactic from the Italians, and Varenhorst does exactly the same. Varenhorst having to chase in here. Off the outside hands. Short plays well seen from Van der Velde. Patience from Lupo in transition. That's another big swing in transition from Lupo, but this time it's been dug. Good rally, this one. And it's Varenhorst again, the outside hand, proving to be deadly. For any young blocker just watching how Varenhorst is trying to penetrate with everything he's got there. His little finger and everything over the net this time. Lupo the target, on two from Nicolai. Fantastic from the Netherlands, 5-point lead. And after that loss yesterday, this was going to start one of two ways. Randy Numador would be very, very happy with the way he's seen his team bounce back and start very, very brightly in this opening set against one of the best teams the world's ever seen.
farei musica in ogni momento, ma senza una tromba, nessuno strumento. Vi faccio un esempio. Alziamo le mani, battiamole a tempo.
Good timeout from Italy. Miss serve from Varenhorst. Well, just the 2 bronze medals for the Netherlands, but for the Italians, it's Paolo Nicolai who makes one back into the cross court. Well, Van der Velde, he's low, but he's watching through the net on the approach line of the spiker, diving into the cross court. It's a good block line from Paolo Nicolai, goes low again. Speaking to Nicolai a while ago, he was saying that they've had to improve their level so much, even from the level they were playing in 2015-16 when they were winning the European Championships. They didn't keep increasing their level, then with the way this sport is going and the fast progression, they would be a qualification team. Just shows that the progression of beach volleyball stops for absolutely no one. It's going to be interesting to see where this sport goes in the next 3 years towards Paris. We've seen more jump setting, more 2 balls. Seeing more of Armin and Helvik and their success, kings of the court this year in Utrecht. Varenhorst, a little bit out of rhythm, but manages to turn one off the outside hand of Nicolai. Too high for Nicolai, which is a tough score because Nicolai is 2 meters 3, 6'8". Lupo, back to the line this time from Lupo. Much improved from the Italians after a strong start from the Dutch. But there's a lot of beach volleyball left in this game. Twice we've seen that play from Lupo, diving into the angle from Varenhorst. They're defending very narrow there, the Dutch. And that's just to connect with that off-body arm swing from Lupo. But Lupo can open it up a little bit more.
Vi ricordo che siete in diretta TV, quindi buoni migliori sorrisi. Siete incredibili, fatevi un enorme applauso!
Big moments. The Dutch side out has been firing on all cylinders so far.
What a fly ball!
As Daniele Lupo makes another high-level swing. We've seen some big games of Nicolai Lupo through the years. European Championship last year against the Vikings. The level was so high between 2 European giants. It shows they're always there or thereabouts, the Italians. Off the body, but that one's wide of the sideline from Van der Velde. Trying to squeeze it into the narrowest of gaps. Lupo, once again in the right spot. Nicolai diving into the cross court, knows he played a big role in that one. Varenhorst now, once again off the net. But that is one of the bonuses of being as high as Christian Varenhorst is in this game. At 212, he's someone who can afford to pass off the net and still have options available to him from a disadvantaged position. Varenhorst, best hitter in 2015, top rookie in 2012. Errors creeping in now from Nicolai and Lupo. #1 seeds in this competition for being the hosts. Varenhorst serving and blocking incredibly well. 4 wins with Reindin Numedor on the World Tour, 3 of them in 2014, so some time ago now, as Lupo beats him this time. Well, the last major event that Varenhorst won was in 2016, the Moscow Grand Slam with Reindin Numedor. They beat Alisson and Bruno in that final. Cantor Wojciak in third, Jake Gibb, Casey Patterson made up the final 4. Good recovery setting, but the service pressure increasing from the Italians. From the left side. You just saw 2 really good steps there from Lupo. Really late into the cross court. Makes a reaction play as well. Bump cutty. Chance in transition wide to the pin. Smart play from the Dutch. The reason it's smart is because it's one thing worrying about playing the ball, but Van der Velde here has a look through the net. He's aware that Nicolai is pinned to the left-hand side of the court, so he takes a wider, quicker step just to outrun the Olympic silver medalist to the line and beat him. Composure under pressure. Delights Varenhorst once more.
20 points for Varenhorst.
Nicolai Lupo won in Cagliari, the European Championship in 2014. On that day, beating Alexander Samoilovs and Janis Smedins. Well, today, the Beach Volley Vikings, if they win the final, they win their 14th competition together, which would make them the most successful European team in World Tour history, overtaking Samoilovs and Smedins on that list. BVB info, finding all the goods there, but so is Paolo Nicolai. Low and late in the block, quick with the hands. Lupo puts the ball on the absolute spot. Italy are back to 1 here. Well, Nicolai and Lupo. Oh, it's back on 1. It's a jumbo style dig to the corner. Daniele Lupo has just lit a match here. Awareness. The one-handed stab. Take a bow, sir. Take a bow. Timeout, Varenhorst, Van der Velde.
Signori, si ritorna in campo, 17, tutti quanti insieme, forza con le mani, su!
Patience and aggression from the Italians. Nicolai serving. running through to try and make a block. Varenhorst finds a side out.
Varenhorst for Netherlands.
That one from Van der Velde's gone astray. Fast contact, but the path of the hand sends it the wrong side of the sideline. Interesting game now because the Dutch, as we saw yesterday in the semi-final, were in control, but they've just been pegged back, this time by Italy. Daniele Lupo. On absolute flames, Lupo. The blocking of Nicolai. The reverse set, there's a change defensively. Varenhorst playing on the backcourt, and you'd imagine that that might just go into decision making of Lupo. Sees Varenhorst playing on the backcourt, so decides to chip around Van der Velde to beat Varenhorst to the floor. Side out, scores a tied at 19 all. Great game. Short serve, Nicolai's coming on two. Well seen from Van der Velde, who for many in Holland believe that he's one of the best blockers in the program, playing defense most of the time, but you can see with the hands, the speed and the reads that he's making, he's a threat at all times. First set point for the Netherlands. Saved by the Italians. Squeezed by Lupo. It's an outrageous swing. It really is. Overtime in this opener. We've seen that one before. Varenhorst playing smart, just going off the top of the hands. Netherlands have never medalled in this competition. Well, there could be a disagreement here because Lupo is sure it's in. Netherlands are going to take this to the challenge referee, which is absolutely fair. It's exactly why it's there.
Challenge ball in or out.
Well, it's either 21 all or it's a 1-0 lead. Some puzzle faces, in or out. Lupo said in. That is very, very close. Of course we're pressing rewind here. Well, you make your own decision. The line is in. That is very, very close. Well, for those who have known Daniele Lupo for a long time, you know he's got precision. And that was as precise as you could make it. But also what's made Lupo the player that he is that line shot. For multiple years, just so many different variations of that line ball. Up and down the sideline. Anyway, 21 all. We could be here all evening long. Nicolai is there. Tomahawk is a little bit scrappy, a little bit rushed from the Netherlands. Lupo turns one back. Surely not again. Lupo says it's in, or wants to at least have a look and see if it's in.
Requested by Italy.
And now it's their turn to challenge. Varenhorst, the 2m12 defender. Big clip into the net band.
In or out. Requested by Italy.
Can't believe this. 2 close ones in a row. Nicolai is back behind the baseline. Maybe he's just ready to side out the next ball. The tension is building. I mean, that one wasn't too much further away than the previous one, but that one was out and the previous one was in. For anyone watching, you can see just how full throttle Lupo has to be to try and hit the sideline as closely as he is. Oh, dummy 2 ball. Van der Velde's been sucked into that one. Varenhorst playing defense. And he transitions off the hands of Nicolai. And eventually, the first set goes to the Netherlands here. Fantastic entertainment for the opening set. A couple of set points saved, but it's Christian Varenhorst and Steven van der Velde that take the first set 23-21. That game gave us everything we wanted and a little bit extra. Well, the set statistics, there's really not much in that. One more attack for the Dutch, and that's about it. I just feel that nobody here is playing badly whatsoever. They're all bringing something very close to their A game. Chewed high off the hands from Varenhorst. This clench celebration. The World Tour Finals was introduced in 2015, the first one in Fort Lauderdale, won by the Olympic gold medalists from 2016. They didn't know there'd be the Olympic gold medalists the following year, but Alisson and Bruno beating Dalhouser, Lucena. Well, Dalhouser, one of the very finest we've seen in the blocking phase of the game, but Christian Varenhorst making a big reach onto Lupo, and Lupo is stopped. In 2016, it was Alisson and Bruno who won this event again at the expense of Andro and Pedro. Triborn and John Hayden taking the bronze that year. And then Dalhouser, Lucena took the 2017 World Tour Finals in Hamburg. That was one of 2 in a row in Hamburg. 2018 was won by Anders Moll and Christian Sorum in that breakthrough season where they just happened to go on that crazy run of victories to establish themselves as the world's best team. But last year, or 2 years ago, the last World Tour Finals we had due to the pandemic. Varenhorst, how many blocks do you want to make, buddy? Back into the line of Lupo. Once again, the shapes he's creating on the net. Problematic for Italy, but it's very similar to the first set. There was a big deficit for them. And Nicolai Lupo have been around in this game long enough to know how to stage a comeback. Varenhorst chops back angle over the top of the block. You can see here that Varenhorst is choosing to challenge the block more often than not. More of an angle. And because he has a height advantage, he'll know that if he can see Nicolai on the cross court, he can just pat over the top of him. It's one of the bonuses of being 212 is if he can see the blocker and he's in enough rhythm, he can stay high and just go over the top of everyone. Dutch seem to be blessed with physicality. On Varenhorst at the moment. But funny enough, the Italians were defeated at London 2012 by Reinder Numedor, the now head coach for the time being, but on 2, Van der Velde puts it away. The Italians beaten in London by Numedor School, who went on to make the Final Four, losing to the Latvians. Big day that for Latvian volleyball. But this is a great start for the Dutch programme. Well, Numedor leading the programme since Victor Anfilov's left after the Olympic Games to join Babington. Mikael van der Kip will be taking over for his second stint as Dutch head coach from next month. Former coach of Tom van Moller and Dries Kokkelkoren, who have both just retired. All the best to them. As we have a look at the run of points. One-way traffic, but we've seen that already in this game. Italy left it late in set 1 to stage a comeback.
3 points for Italy, 7 points for Netherlands. A tempo!
Varenhorst. Varenhorst beaten. Very good from Van der Velde though. The ability to work hard off the ball here. Sublime passes into a very good zone. You can see he takes 2 or 3 steps away from his partner. But Lupo just squeezes one back to the line past the outside hand. The work off the ball there, passes on an angle, so has to sit very tight to have all of his options open. So many teams decide to serve Lupo on that long angle across his body to really make it difficult for him to find the approach line that he really wants to have. He always used to run the up and down ball, but he has added a wider play to his repertoire, Lupo. Van der Velde. Well, the Netherlands in full control here, but they were in full control against the Vikings in the semi yesterday as well. Lupo in a hurry to get serving. Just trying to rush the opposition. Varenhorst this time from the right side, slightly wider ball. It's almost like a half set. It's good setting from Van der Velde. But once again, you can see that Varenhorst chooses to go over Nicolai. But whatever Italy do, they're really struggling to make breaks on the Dutch, and this is how Dutch volleyball works. If they're passing well, they play from such a height that you just can't stop them. Lupo. Interesting situation, this one for Van der Velde, and that's why Nicolai is back into the game. Interesting because the pass was off the net, Varenhorst under a little bit more pressure, and at that moment in time you can just sense that Nicolai felt his opportunity This is a better situation for the Netherlands. So Van der Velde sides out. That's just the small details of this game. Van der Velde passes a couple of meters closer to the net. And the entire game becomes so much easier for him. Nicolai decides to go over the top himself. Well, Nicolai Lupo took that silver medal in Rio, although they had to do it the long way through the lucky losers spot to play in the final of the Olympic Games at the Copacabana. Varenhorst, no chance for Lupo there, but you can see what the Italians have done here. Nicolai is fully aware that Varenhorst is going over the top of him, so he decides to get really low in the block and then break in the other direction to see if they can bait Varenhorst into a high line. Instead, Varenhorst just crunches one down the line instead. But you can see this game of cat and mouse, the World Tour Finals, final day, where history could well be made in Sardinia.
Ace for Netherlands.
Big ace, post-technical. Have the Netherlands learned their lesson from yesterday? Will be the big question on the lips of Dutch fans. These two teams did play each other in Pool A. That's the beauty of this competition, just due to the fact that there's a minimum of 4 games, 2 pools of 5, top 3 going through to the knockout stages. Those who've been following as an absolute classic as well. The first 2 sets, it was 1-1, but 21-10, 21-14, so it was a really close game without it being close whatsoever. 2 one-sided sets, but it was 17-15 to the Dutch in the final set. 3 of the final 4 coming from Pool A. Varenhorst. Tomahawk, little reach from Nicolai. In or out will be the question. Van der Velde's looking for a handover. It's not been given. Italy back to 2 here. Well. Paolo Nicolai. Whenever Italy needs him the most, he delivers. He reads that 2 ball. It's a fairly straight angle to hit the 2 ball on, purely for the reason that the blocker's still very much in the game when the ball's passed that straight. Ball's passed on more angles, the hitter's going to have more space to hammer the ball away. Working for the free net on the 2 ball. This time they go on 3, and well, Varenhorst can only really go one way there. If you have a look at Nicolai's reaction, I think you feel that he feels he could have got in front of that one. God, it wasn't for the lack of try, was it? A big reach from Nicolai. Short serve. Lupo stays aggressive. That's the wider ball that we were sort of speaking about beforehand. It's coming on more of an angle there, Lupo. Just means he's going to have to work a little bit harder to access the line from that diagonal approach. His challenge here.
Challenge requested by Netherlands.
Well, the point has gone their way without the challenge. Very good from the Italians. Very, very good inside out from the Italians. With the Netherlands 5 away, Paolo Nicolai chews through one. Colossal from the Italian. Varenhorst over the top of Nicolai. Best blocker in 2016. He's also won the best defensive player and most improved player, Nicolai. Paolo Nicolai was twice World Under-21 champion. One more for Varenhorst. And when Nicolai won the World Junior Championship at Under-21 level with Francesco Giontella, he actually beat Alex Blauer and Christian Varenhorst in Brighton some time ago now, 13 years to be precise. It just shows that 3 of those 4 players still in the World Tour finals this year. The Ingrosso brothers also, volleyball fans will remember them for their flamboyant style. They took 3rd that year. Varenhorst high off the top of the hands. Nicolai diving into the angle of Varenhorst. Lupo chips over the top of Van der Velde. And that's also not the first time we've seen that. Being able to know that Varenhorst is on the backcourt, 2-12, doesn't want to get down to the sand too easy. So chipping short over the top will do him just fine. But for the Netherlands, they're also siding out well. And for Varenhorst going over the top, Italy might just have to double up at some point. Lupo might just have to release to cover the same area. But it's match point for the Netherlands. All the same, Lupo, the target, way off the net here. Free ball, and surely it's game over here. Van der Velde from the left side, back set chipped away, but Lupo is there. To the inside, Lupo fires wide of the mark, and it's a bronze medal for the Netherlands. A great performance, their first ever medal in a World Tour Finals for the Dutch. Christian Varenhorst and Steven van der Velde have bounced back from that defeat yesterday. Smiles and celebrations can begin because it's been a very good season for them. A 3rd place finish in Sochi, backed up with a 3rd place finish here in Sardinia. Well, that's how the game finished up. I think the world has to watch out for Van der Velde and Christian Varenhorst. Varenhorst right back at the top of the game. Van der Velde growing every single tournament. Well, there's confirmation of the score. And for Nicolai and Lupo, incredible athletes in this game. Another Olympic season for them. But we're going to hear from our winners.
Guys, what a great win. You're going to be on the podium of the World Tour Finals. How great is that?
No words. No words. I have some words. Yeah, it's really great. We're really happy. After the semi-final, leading in the second set, having some issues, to come back like this in the final game, we're really happy.
What about the whole tournament as a competition? How would you evaluate your performance here?
I think really well. We heard 3 weeks ago we could be part of it, which was great. So we had 3 weeks to prepare. We were already in our holidays. So I think this is beyond our expectations, that we can perform at this level again, this quickly, and especially after missing Tokyo, having some downtime. It's good for us to be like this as a team again.
Okay, thank you and good luck. Congratulations again.
Well, the match statistics, there wasn't much in it, was there? One more race, more attacks, errors and blocks, fairly similar, but what we're seeing is a Netherlands nation. 3 Dutch teams on the World Tour who are competing at the very highest level. 2 legends of Italian volleyball defeated today in Daniela Lupo and Paolo Nicolai. They've made 22 podiums on the World Tour, but today the Olympic silver medalists from Rio were defeated by a very, very strong Dutch team. Christian Varenhorst, a runner-up in the World Championships in 2015, has just added a medal, the first medal for any Dutch team at a World Tour Finals. A great performance from them. Varenhorst and Van Velde take it in 2 straight sets. And the celebrations for them can start to begin. Well, they bounce back. Well, exciting news this week as the Volleyball World Beach Pro Tour was announced. A brand new concept of the way that we're going to watch beach volleyball in the future. The top 16 athletes traveling around the world. Iconic locations galore. Some we know already, some we don't. But the World Tour will be back in 2022, bigger and better than ever.